If anybody know about business, you don't keep this regular account. So I had to wire the money from somewhere. Okay? So I wired the money to the account, and when I wired it to the account, I went straight to the bank. I go to the bank myself to make sure. The thing is this: I can't make all the money unless somebody else do all the dictating and do all the controlling.
He don't need any money.
He spends so much money.
Yeah, but he don't need any. Floyd,
Are you sure?
Yeah, Floyd good.
I bet if he's planning for the future, you got to keep it coming in if you're going to keep spending the way he spends.
Yeah, but I think he has a lot of other business interests
that you are bankrupt. How do you respond to that? I don't think you have publicly responded
Well,
yet.
everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I mean, if we call having 2 private jets, owning 100 buildings, being able to do what you want to do, if that's bankrupt, then I'm pretty sure everybody want to live like that.
Floyd Mayweather sits across from Joe Rogan and calmly unpacks the chaos around that shocking $1.1 billion loss. But here's the twist. He's still flying private, still owning hundreds of buildings, and with a smirk, he flips the narrative, saying if this
Insider article that ran.
Yes.
We debunked this reporting, but the gist of it was that Dan Geiger, the BI reporter, said that you didn't do the $400 million Black Spruce deal. And you sued BI and Geiger for defamation recently. You said that Geiger harassed you and your family through hundreds of phone calls, and you also said his reporting was racially biased. What do you hope to get out of suing Geiger? Why did you do that?
Well, I leave that to the judge. I leave that to the lawyers. I just want the people to know. I'm 48 years old. I know you guys want to talk about real estate. Only thing I'm doing is answer the question.
That is a real estate question.
Okay, so out of 48 years, I'm 48 years old, and I've never sued a media outlet. The media outlet throughout my life has bashed me, talked bad about me, spoke bad about my family. I'm not a liar. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a liar. I work hard to build my name, to build my reputation, and I'm not gonna let anyone go out there and smear my name and talk bad about me, talk bad about my family, or talk bad about my company.
This is what broke looks like, then maybe everyone's chasing the wrong dream. Then the story deepens, pulling us into the Business Insider article that stirred everything. A report that didn't just question
That money.
Hundreds of pairs
That
of-
money has to keep coming in if you're going to live like this.
It's not that expensive though, but
He's only 46. But he does this with everything, man. He's got $1 million watches.
I don't think he buys every pair.
You think they give them to him?
Yeah, because then you get a video like that.
Right. That's smart.
And then you get Floyd's Air Force Ones given away for charity. That's a tax.
numbers. He questioned his empire. He acknowledges they pushed back on it, dismantled parts of the claim, but the tension rises when Dan Geiger's name enters the frame, accused of saying the massive $400 million Black Spruce deal never happened. And now, it's not just business, it's personal. Lawsuits, defamation claims, allegations of relentless harassment through hundreds of calls, even accusations that the coverage crossed into racial bias. So what does Floyd really want from all this? Justice, reputation, or something deeper? And just when you think you've picked a side, Joe Rogan cuts in with a brutal perspective, suggesting maybe the real downfall wasn't the headlines but the lifestyle. Millions burned on watches, excess without limits, a life where too much was never enough. Meanwhile, a tweet explodes across X, pulling over 7 million eyes into the storm swirling around Floyd Mayweather, claiming he somehow went bankrupt after stacking between $1.20 and $2 billion in his career. And suddenly the image shifts. His mansions and cars whispered about like artifacts heading to auction, something that feels almost unreal. Then the story tightens as expert Akos Gupta amplifies it, painting a life so excessive it barely sounds human. Never wearing underwear twice, paying someone just to clean his cars every single day, casually dropping $12,000 a week at a Japanese steakhouse, and in one wild...
Invest in a brand new cash counting machine specifically for Floyd. The one we had, you know, it was just not that great, so we spent a little more money and got the best one, and it's really...
moment, throwing $50,000 into a pool for strippers just to watch it float. The details keep escalating. Diamond-encrusted gadgets, a $10 million engagement ring.
I'm pretty sure I'd be upset too if I was somebody else. I'd be mad at Mayweather too. 29 years or 30 years, you keep getting money like this. I'd be mad too. I'd be hating on Mayweather too. Continue to hate. You know, people only talk about winners. I'm a winner, so continue to talk. Keep your bread fresh. Put it in the bag. Money the bread man. Tip money. Fucking throw it in handset. Throw it in the Floyd bag. See, I'm born crocodile phones, Himalayan phones, crocodile bags.
Fleets of luxury cars, 2 private jets priced at $60 million and $30 million, and yet somehow it still wasn't enough. Millions vanished into gambling. A $7 million jewelry theft barely slowed the pace.
He's still waiting on the 1.5 from Floyd Mayweather. He made this video simultaneously with the beef with Le'Veon, and I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it isn't.
Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao 2. The fight nobody asked for except me. I need this because if Floyd wins, he can finally pay me my $1.5 million. I don't care about the legacy fight. I don't care that these men have a combined age of 100 years. I care that Floyd Mayweather, the best boxer alive, uses those same hands that made him 100 million to Venmo me my money. And Floyd, if you're watching this, win it and pay me back, or I'm gonna send my goons after you. Gotcha. Hey.
I really don't know why I watched that. Yeah, listen, dude. Logan is, again, functionally a coward for not doing this. I was really excited for it, too. I couldn't wait. That was about to be content, stud. But, I mean, okay, yes, I understand if he is under WWE contract, they're not going to allow him.
And when the IRS came knocking for $22 million, the twist hit. His wealth wasn't liquid, forcing delays that raised even more questions. But then comes the present, and everything feels different. It's now 2026. One jet is gone. A court moves to seize his Bugatti. His strip club struggles under back taxes. Logan Paul is still owed $1.5 million from years ago. His own team pushes Showtime to
19 million of the money was lost. So to lose 19 of 20 million, I mean, what did you go to the casino over and over? Like, you know. So Recknitz, now mind you, this is Floyd's new buddy, his new financial advisor. Recknitz became what prosecutors called, quote, one of the single most important and prolific white-collar cooperating witnesses in the recent history of the Southern District of New York, testifying in multiple federal corruption trials. He claimed to have weekly phone conversations with Mayor de Blasio on his personal cell phone in exchange for campaign contributions. De Blasio, of course, was never charged. Now in court, Recknitz paints himself as a changed man. While living in New York, I felt pressure to become a big shot, he told the judge. Sound familiar?
reveal the truth behind his earnings, only to be told the records were lost in a flood. And just when you think the story has settled, one final detail lingers. A dealer who sold him over 100 cars remembers one thing clearly. Floyd always paid in cash, and he made sure the world was watching. Floyd Mayweather leans back and calmly defends the life he's lived, saying it's his world, his rules, and if someone else stumbled into the same fortune, he wouldn't bat an eye. Yet he knows the whispers of broke follow him like shadows, fueled by jealousy and envy. Meanwhile, Wade Plemons steps into spotlight.
5 months in prison, 5 months house arrest, but he's yet to serve any time. I'm sorry, he got sentenced to 10 months in 2019. Five months in prison, 5 months and house arrest, but he's yet to serve any time. His sentencing has been repeatedly delayed and reassigned to different judges. But he remains free nearly 9 years after pleading guilty. So he's been out of jail for 9 years. The guy hasn't even done his 5 months. So he's got his hand in the corruption cookie jar still, it seems like. After the scandal, he went and became a jeweler. He launched Jadel Jewelry and Diamonds, leveraging connections to celebrities like Kim Kardashian, Shaq, and Scottie.
Responding to Logan Paul's comments about Floyd, and the tension spikes. He confirms Floyd still owes him $1.5 million from their exhibition bout, a debt that hangs over their names like a storm cloud, and you can't help but wonder if the timing is deliberate, given the simultaneous drama with Le'Veon. Coincidence or something deeper, no one can quite tell. But the financial cracks run deeper than tweets and fights. Reports swirl that Mayweather is feeling real strain, and analysts point a finger at his new manager, suggesting that lavish spending paired with questionable management decisions has only sharpened the pressure. The plot thickens in court, where a key player emerges.
Like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Stephen Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over at Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available. Because
Jonah Renitz, described as one of the most prolific and influential white-collar cooperating witnesses in recent Southern District of New York history, his presence hinting at a legal undercurrent that could ripple through Floyd's empire, turning headlines and social media frenzy into a story about power, money, and the fragility behind even the most legendary lifestyles. So here's the twist. Jonah Renitz, now Floyd Mayweather's newest ally and financial advisor, carries a reputation that could fill headlines. Prosecutors once labeled him one of the single most important and prolific white-collar cooperating witnesses in recent Southern District of New York history, a man whose testimony shook multiple federal corruption trials.
Fight $250 million contract, but what was unheard of about it, Mayweather got to pick his own opponents and still get paid. Mayweather, the persona he cultivated, whether you like it or not, has sold tickets. He was a big draw. He was the top earning athlete. 2012 to 20 did his thing for sure. But in this lawsuit, it is alleged that while Mayweather was paid several $100 million through his different associated, those 6 fights with Showtime, and then after that he did the Pacquiao, for which he received a $100 million check, but he was supposed to get $200 million. He got a $100 million check, but he was supposed to get. So it's easy to get blinded, like it's a lot of money, but if you...
He claimed weekly calls with Mayor de Blasio on his personal cell, allegedly trading political influence for campaign contributions, though de Blasio, of course, was never charged. In court, Renitz presented himself as a man remade, reflecting on the pressure to rise big in the fast-moving, ruthless landscape of New York City. Observers can't help but draw parallels to Floyd Mayweather, noting how similar pressures and the weight of management decisions can twist even the most solid finances into chaos. Despite a web of legal entanglements, 5 months behind bars, 5 months under house arrest, Renitz has yet to serve a single day, a reminder of how tangled money, power, and influence.
He fought Conor McGregor, huge. He fought Pacquiao. So now he's talking about fighting Mike Tyson. He does seem to be having money problems. And I don't care how many goddamn watches he bought, the amount of money he made boxing, unless he's been getting swindled on the business end. Once you start getting into having hundreds of millions of dollars, you're getting $10, $15 million a year or 20, 30, $40 million a year in interest. Right? If you're just in the stock market is like doubled in the last 4 years, right? I mean, so Al Heyman is this. He's not like a Don King. He doesn't have that reputation. He has this, that he's a brilliant businessman. He stays totally...
...can become, where decisions ripple in ways no one fully anticipates, and where alliances like the one between Floyd and Renitz could either stabilize an empire or accelerate its unraveling. His sentencing has been bounced around like a pinball, delayed, reassigned, yet here he is, nearly 9 years after. Pleading guilty, still walking free. 9 years without stepping foot in jail for his 5-month sentence, still with a hand in the corruption cookie jar, quietly maneuvering through a world that once scrutinized him. After the scandal, he returned to Los Angeles, his hometown, reinventing himself as a jeweler.
According to TMZ, let's get to the TMZ. Floyd Mayweather sues Showtime saying, I'm missing hundreds of millions of dollars. Floyd Mayweather Jr. says he made over $1 billion in earnings over his legendary career, but the 50-0 fighter claims all the money didn't make it to his bank account. He is now suing Showtime, claiming they played a big role in his ex-manager screwing him out of hundreds of millions of dollars. In the lawsuit filed by Floyd in California and obtained by TMZ Sports, Mayweather says he's gunning to recover hundreds of millions of dollars in the misappropriated funds and damages resulting from long-running and elaborate financial.
A quiet pivot after the chaos. Meanwhile, Teddy Atlas watches as the public lens on Floyd Mayweather shifts like sand. Those who once cheered his unmatched dominance now chuckle at his perceived fall, finding irony in the very life they once idolized. The fans who marveled at his undefeated streak and extravagant choices are now questioning the same decisions, the same empire they once celebrated. Atlas underscores a simple, almost brutal truth. Fame is fragile, admiration fleeting, and fortune never guaranteed. Floyd's journey from revered champion to a figure at the center of ridicule is a stark lesson in how quickly tides can turn, how the same people who once exalted a man's victories can pivot
those parties to see whether or not this is something that Floyd should have known about or did know about or maybe did not understand. Because it seems very, very funny that Floyd would not know that the money was getting paid to Al Heyman and not directly to him. Regardless, I don't know the outcome of that. I will talk about this, though. The absolute blatant karma up in Floyd Mayweather's face for all the smack he talked about Muhammad Ali and how Muhammad Ali's name was only worth $50 million and he sold half of his name for $50 million and how he's made so much more money and that makes him all of that. Talked about how Muhammad Ali, I'm sure, or I don't know if he did, but I'd heard, talked about Floyd. Yeah, he did, because he talked about his money and how he had to sell his name because he did.
To dissect his stumbles and how the world of sports, money, and celebrity never waits. It moves relentlessly, indifferent to legacy, leaving only the story for those who dare to follow. An economics expert unravels the tangled web of Floyd Mayweather's finances, painting a picture that's as intricate as it is revealing. Al Heyman, Mayweather's longtime advisor and manager, orchestrated a six-fight, $250 million contract that let Floyd handpick opponents while still cashing in, a deal so unprecedented it became the stuff of legend. The expert points out how, between 2012 and 2014, Floyd's persona and sheer drawing power catapulted him to the very top of athlete earnings, raking in millions.
We are going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing to pay rent on a luxurious duplex.
From tickets, pay-per-views, and global attention. Yet beneath the surface, lawsuits whisper of a different story, claims that despite receiving hundreds of millions through various associates, Floyd was underpaid on key fights. Take the Pacquiao bout, a staggering $100 million, though the agreement promised him $200 million, a gap that matters when hundreds of millions are on the line. Every misstep, every missing check compounds the pressure. Heyman, unlike flamboyant promoters such as Don King, works in shadows, quietly engineering deals for fighters like Adrian Broner and forging high-profile collaborations with Golden Boy Promotions and
represents the $500K, $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took, but
Oscar de la Hoya. The expert lands the conclusion like a slow reveal. Mayweather's financial turbulence likely isn't a tale of reckless spending alone, but a labyrinth of contracts, management structures, and unseen negotiations. A world where even a champion's fortune can teeter when the numbers behind the glitz don't add up. Analyst Fannin dives into the storm behind Floyd Mayweather's legendary career, exposing how financial turbulence has pushed the undefeated boxer into courtrooms, confronting former business partners over money disputes. Despite amassing over $1 billion, Floyd's life behind the flashes and fame tells a different story. Spending sprees, high-stakes gambling, and tax troubles quietly stacking pressure, leaving cracks in an empire that once seemed untouchable. Fannin notes that these lawsuits aren't mere pettiness. They appear to be Floyd's attempt to reclaim what he believes is rightfully his, or to confront mismanagement by those he once trusted implicitly. His lifestyle, as TMZ reports, reads like a fantasy most could never imagine. Dozens of luxury cars, multiple private jets, sprawling high-end properties, lavish jewelry, gadgets, and events that blurred the lines between indulgence and spectacle. Millions disappeared into gambling, while unpaid taxes compounded the strain, creating a reality where even a man with unimaginable earnings felt the need to fight legally to protect his wealth. Fannin stresses that these moves aren't just about cash. They're about safeguarding Mayweather's reputation, his brand, and the very structures of his business dealings. They reveal the hidden maze of wealth management, where even the richest athletes can stumble when money flows through layers of advisors and managers. Some wonder whether Floyd fully understood the money going to Al Heyman instead of directly to him, a detail both amusing and baffling, but the outcome remains unclear. What's certain is that the battles outside the ring can be just as fierce as those inside, and Floyd's story is far from over. Floyd Mayweather Jr. didn't just become a legendary boxer. He became the living embodiment of extravagance, a man whose life sparkled with dozens of luxury cars, multiple private jets, diamond-encrusted watches, and gadgets so high-end they seemed otherworldly. His lifestyle was a performance of excess, employing staff just to maintain his possessions, hiring someone whose sole job was to clean his car collection every single day, spending tens of thousands weekly at restaurants, gambling millions on sports, and tossing massive sums of cash at parties just to show the world his fortune. But behind the glittering image, recent reports and commentary from the Boxing Ego host peel back the layers, revealing a financial reality far more tangled and complicated, and it's exactly what we'll dive into in this video. Even the undefeated champion faced lawsuits, like claims of unpaid rent on a luxurious Manhattan duplex. Despite earning over $1 billion, Mayweather's relentless spending, gambling losses, and tax obligations have visibly chipped away at his wealth. Stories of unpaid taxes, ongoing legal battles, and whispers of financial strain paint a stark contrast to the image of invincibility he projected for years. This tension serves as a warning. Even the richest athletes aren't immune to the consequences of unchecked extravagance. What once seemed like endless riches now reads almost like a cautionary tale, showing how over-the-top lifestyles and complicated money management can dramatically reshape a fortune, leaving legends like Mayweather to navigate the fallout from a life lived larger than anyone could imagine.